So my name is Tom Armitage for Smith.ai, and welcome to the Smith.ai Master Series, where we're talking to a lot of different types of business owners and business professionals and helping educate guests on really a variety of topics in the sales and marketing and business development space to help them really become more efficient and use sales and marketing techniques and tactics to generate more revenue and sales opportunities and ultimately help them grow. This topic that we have today is a fun one. It's on local SEO and Google My Business, and it comes at a really great time. Just 2 weeks ago, we had another webinar where we talked really high level about kind of the art and science of search engine optimization, if you will, and we kind of dated back to 10, 15 years ago, and we documented some of the most important Google algorithm updates. And this is a great part too. It's a great continued session of that webinar from a few weeks ago, if you were able to attend that, because we're really going to dive deep now into local SEO and Google My Business and the role that it plays in helping brick and mortar and local businesses really be found more often and more regularly by potential customers. So we have a great guest here today, two guests really, both from Civille. We have Eric Giroux and Wes Lungwitz, and they're going to help answer a lot of great questions that I have prepared for them here on local SEO and Google My Business. So I'll turn it over to you guys, do a little introduction about yourselves and your agency, and then we'll dig right in.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom. And thanks everybody for joining. I know joining webinars is like, sometimes the time to tune out, check your email, but I'm committed to packing this thing with some juicy nuggets that are really going to help you with local SEO. Specifically, we say Google Business Profile, but you often hear it as Google My Business. It used to be called Google My Business, but if you hear either of those, Google Business Profile, that's what we're talking about. It's a super important component of your local SEO strategy. And Wes and I have been doing this for about 15 years for a couple different industries. We're pretty good at it, and we do have some cool tips and tricks to share. Again, my name is Eric Giroux, VP of Strategy at Civille, and joined by the all-knowing Wes Lungwitz, who is our managing partner.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. That is me and my title. Happy to join. Like you said, we're been in the digital space for quite a while. Civille itself is a little over 2 years old in the legal industry. We have some diverse background in legal prior to that, so did a lot of consulting work myself, marketing, and just different levels of work with law firms and understanding the space before we jumped all the way in. But here we are, and really advancing the business, and really excited to do things like this, to get more exposure in the space and tell a little bit about what we know.
Fantastic. Appreciate you guys joining us. And just for those in attendance, we're going to try and reserve questions for the end, but feel free at any point in time, drop questions into the chat. If it's super timely, super relevant, we'll address it on the spot. But other than that, we'll kind of save them into the end. But at any time, just so you don't forget any questions, just pop it in the chat window. And I have it on my screen here, so I'll kind of look here just to monitor if there's any questions coming through, and we'll charge ahead here. So you already mentioned, Eric, that the name of Google My Business recently changed, and they've really overhauled the program itself a number of times over the years. So give us just kind of a high level snapshot as to what Google has really done over the years to provide this tool, this resource for businesses. If you can get us a little rundown of that timeline of how we got to where we are today.
Yeah. So think of like Google in the early 2000s. All Google returned was search results that you would then, as a user of Google, click and go to somebody else's website. So Google wants to, as much as they can, keep you in their ecosystem. So they never want you to leave Google, right? They want to give you all the information that you need without you having to go to somebody else's website. And when they do send you to a website, they want it to be hyper relevant, great experience, et cetera, et cetera. So they've introduced a lot of tools and changes to the search experience in order to achieve that goal of keeping you inside of the Google ecosystem. You'll now notice that when you search for things, you often don't go click a link to get that answer. Am I sharing my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so if I search for who won the Super Bowl, of course, I know this because I live in the greater Kansas City area here in Lawrence, Kansas.
Congrats.
But Google is going to return an answer. Same thing when you ask a question, you're going to see these rich snippets, and a lot of times you don't need to click into a website. You get these rich snippets that give you the answer. One little stat I like to share is that since 2019, more than half of all Google searches end without a click to a website. So what that means is it's increasingly important for you to give information about your business through the tools that Google makes available to you, like a Google business profile.
That stat is impressive, remarkable, and really important for folks to understand, because so much of what business professionals, marketing professionals, whoever it is that's responsible for SEO work, a lot of times they're putting all of their eggs really in on-site optimization. The on-site optimization basket is what I'll say, and the work that you can and should be doing on your site. And it is important, and that user experience on your site is certainly important, and I don't want to dismiss that. But that stat and what you're going to be talking here today is really about making sure that the experience off-site and that experience directly on search is just as valuable, if not more valuable, because of how many people are getting the information there, being satisfied with the information there, and choosing what they like to do with that information. Hopefully it's to do business with you, but that's up to them, and that all revolves around what that experience is like directly in search. And that is certainly related to the website, but it is separate and it is distinct and unique.
Yeah, I think it's easy to understand too if you just ask yourself, what do you do? How do you search? How do you make your decisions about which businesses to engage with? And of course, people look at reviews and those little snippets that you get from, searching ice cream shop, city, state. You're going to make your decision about where to go get your mint chocolate chip double scoop from the reviews and that stack of Google business profiles that's given to you. You're not going to click into each local creamery's website and make a decision, right? And so too is true for just about any industry, and why it's increasingly important to do all of the little tricks you can do to look more impressive from your Google business profile.
And Google put a lot of work into getting to this point. I think the original version of this was, I'm going to date myself now, but I think it was Google Buzz was the very first one. And then it became Google Plus, which everybody thought was going to take down Facebook. And that never happened. Yeah. Then it turned into Google Places. And then it was Google My Business, and now it's the business profile. But they certainly have done a lot of work in order to create this product that we now know and love. And it really is a much more effective product than any of the counterparts before it. What makes this tool much better than all of the attempts that they've made in the past? Why is Google My Business or Google Business Profile so good?
I think because of, I would say, the robustness of the different things that you can do with it now to allow you to illustrate your business and the services or products that you offer better than you can before. So I will jump back into screen share and show you.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I think there's kind of two big things that a Google business profile allows you to accomplish. And those two different ways you can think about it is discoverability when somebody's searching for a particular service in a local search. So an example here, bankruptcy attorney, Augusta, Georgia. Here's one of our clients here. Obviously, pick one that shows up at the top of the list. But you can see, obviously, you're searching for something city, state. You want to show up first and be one of those businesses that the user, prospective customer is considering, right? And then there's this other component to your Google business profile, and that's merchandising yourself when somebody is making brand related searches. So that same law office, Seymour and Associates, somebody searched for that brand, that attorney. I've heard of them, or I saw them, I'm going to search for them. You'll notice how the Google Business Profile actually looks different in these two different avenues. So I'm searching for a law firm, I'm searching for a bankruptcy attorney. You can see the Google Business Profile here. It directs me to Google Maps, versus a branded search where you're seeing these product categories, you're seeing things like updates. And those are the things that, to your question, Tom, I was going to mention are Google Business Profile has added these new devices to allow you to merchandise yourself better than you could in the past. And that's a lot of what we do in rendering services for our clients to help them achieve rank and to get more conversion from their Google Business Profile, is leverage all of these new tools like products and updates that weren't available previously. One note. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, let's tackle these in kind of separate lenses. Let's toggle back to the previous page, and let's approach this first, and then we'll go over to the other and talk about the products and the other enhancements. So yeah, hit back button, and let's look at like the very first search results area that's going to appear for a non-branded search term. So non-branded being no brand names, not by company name, a generic type of search, where are users actually trying to find someone to do business with, trying to find a service. So probably the most glaring, most obvious, most important question that are on people's minds that may not know is, what is dictating this order? How do you increase the likelihood of ranking high in this particular local path versus kind of the main search results section below it?
Sure. So there's, of course, not one thing, no silver bullet, of course, or else everyone would do it, right? But the things that help contribute to your rank are a number of things that are probably pretty obvious, some less obvious. Some people think that if you have the most reviews, you'll rank highest. That appears to be the case here, but it's not the case. Of course, you do want to have reviews, getting a steady stream of reviews, not just like get 100 in a month and then never ask for reviews. You want to get a steady stream of those reviews. You also want to respond to those reviews as they come in, another service that we provide. And you want to kind of build out your profile with all of the different products, services that are relevant to prospective searches. So let me show you an example here. So here, somebody's searching for a veterans attorney. Okay. And you can see that each business has a primary business category, and then there are multiple secondary business categories. So in this example, somebody's searching for a veterans attorney. This client of ours is actually a Social Security and disability insurance attorney. But because we've added secondary services like veterans benefits, that allows us to achieve rank for a non-primary search or service that's searched. So, important things are getting reviews, making sure you're adequately and appropriately labeling your business with the services that it renders. And then, of course, other simple stuff like, do I have pictures of my business? Do I have, do I have all of, do I have this merchandise well? The people that work there, am I updating those pictures frequently? Interior and exterior photos of the business, et cetera. And then finally, these additional tools that I mentioned that might not seem very popular or things that you've used, but are important for Google to increase their certainty that you are providing the service that is being searched for. Products, like, again, you may have never interacted with a product in a Google Business Profile. You've never clicked on some product in here, but Google has increased certainty to know that I should rank this business for bankruptcy attorney if the product page for bankruptcy is built out in the profile itself. Furthermore, you've never scrolled down and come all the way down to business updates and clicked on blog posts for that business. But again, Google can look through these updates to see, is this business producing content and providing updates that are relevant to the search term bankruptcy? And you can see that here. So it's leveraging all of these little tools that you might not as a user take advantage of or as searcher, but something that gives Google a higher degree of certainty that they're returning the most relevant result.
Yeah, and I'm glad you intro that with the fact that there's no silver bullet, because I think some that might be novices to this world, to this space, may think that it's just the pressing of a button or even just the initial setup of a Google My Business profile, and they'll all of a sudden, you know, jump to the top of the pack and be able to be found more often, yeah, you know, by potential new clients. And that simply is not the case. And as you said, if it was that easy, then everyone would do it. And now everybody's going to be vying for those slots. And that exactly is what happens. So there's certainly a number of factors that go into it. And I like that you're saying it's an ongoing activity. It isn't a once and done effort. And it takes continual, consistent efforts with content creation, managing your website, managing the profile itself, getting more reviews, managing those reviews. And there really is an ongoing consistency that exists, just like everything in marketing. And it's not easy, but it pays off if you're willing to put that time and effort into it. So help me understand the relationship that may exist now between the Google My Business profile and what may exist or what should exist on your website, and how this kind of all is connected to one another. Because I would never advocate, and I'm sure that you guys don't either, for local SEO being solely a Google My Business activity. There certainly is website activity and other activities involved in local SEO to kind of help all of this, you know, connect to one another and propel that search presence to be stronger and wider and allowed to go further.
Yeah, I mean, the simple stuff, which a lot of you have probably heard, is like make sure you're using the same phone numbers and addresses. But you're also going to want to ensure that the metadata associated with your on-page content, which is like, you know, when you go and code a page, like what is this page about? Title, description, service areas, they match the targeted service areas that you're optimizing for in your Google Business profile as well. And then the content that you put on your website, how well does it mesh against those service areas that you're touting? Say, you know, here, divorce lawyer, what's your secondary uncontested divorce lawyer, et cetera, et cetera. And so you can see an example. I'll go back to this one because we're used to looking at it. These updates, these are links to blog posts. So here we have a tie into the Google Business profile, into the website, and a mesh of that content. I want my service areas to mimic the content that I'm posting on my website and then posting as updates onto my Google Business profile. So if I want to rank for bankruptcy in a city state, I need to be producing content on my site and then posting that content to my Google Business profile, which is just like just drilling these indicators into Google. Like, hey, Google, I promise you this website is super relevant to bankruptcy attorney city state, right? We're just taking advantage of like everything that we can to algorithmically and programmatically signal to Google that we are the answer to the searcher's question.
So if someone were to contact you or me or anyone that knows this space well, let's say it's a brand new site, a brand new business, or they just haven't given their online presence the love and attention that it deserves. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the legal space. Let's say it's professional services, a plumbing company or a body shop, whatever the case is. What are the steps that you're looking at? What are you going through to audit a small business's search presence to figure out what they've done wrong, where there's errors, and what needs to be corrected before you start really engaging in this ongoing activity?
Yeah. I mean, the first thing is going to be the website itself. And then, I mean, specifically talking about our topic today, Google Business Profile. I mean, when we are looking at clients to onboard, we're looking at the website, their content marketing strategy, and their Google Business Profile. If their profile is not claimed and it's been auto-generated, like that's, of course, step number one. You need to become the admin of your Google Business Profile and start building that out. Google's gotten really good to at making it easy for perhaps a layman or entry-level person in this space to at least add some value. They're not going to uncover all these tips and tricks that I'm showing you about, products, constant updates, secondary service areas, matching those updates, et cetera. But of course, you're going to be able to do that. So it's just, gaining the experience of doing it well. Claim it, build it out, constant updates would be my first thing. One other, I promised I would share this nugget. Well, I promised Wes that I would share this little nugget because it won't be around long. This is a new account that we're working with. You see, she has four reviews. And is there anything about this particular listing that jumps out at you, Tom?
The emoji?
The emoji. So this actually happened in, 2013, 14 with Google search, where you could put emojis in your title of your page and meta descriptions to gain visibility and rank in search results. And this lasted for like 90 days before Google cracked down on it. But we have found that there's this little loophole right now. When you provide these secondary service areas, you can add emojis to gain visibility. And I know it sounds silly and somewhat like playful, but this is like scientifically proven. And that's why you see it everywhere. When you're looking at these and you put 1,000 eyes on these same search results, this one will get more consideration and eyeball attention just based on this red dot, right? Like, it just draws eyes and attention. So that's a little tactic we use for, to your question, Tom, new people trying to gain rank, they don't have anything built out. We're going to just try to leverage all of these little things to get more attention on this newcomer than what would otherwise be noticed. And then Google will algorithmically say, gee, Weber Law Firm is sure getting a lot of attention relative to other newcomers with, little reviews, hasn't been online very long. And then that helps kind of snowball it into an increasing amount of exposure.
A question just came in. If you feel okay, is there a way to drive, kind of peel back the curtain and show what the editing platform looks like rather than seeing the front end of it?
I would probably turn that over to Wes if he feels comfortable doing that. Otherwise, I could show my wife's real estate profile, but I'm not prepared to do that.
Yeah, right, totally up to you. And if we need to hit pause on that, then that's fine too. Whatever you guys think.
Yeah, on the I believe it was adding the products. Yeah, I can show that.
Cool. Yeah, I think that would be helpful. It obviously is helpful to see it on the front end as a user, is what we all experience on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, this is beautiful. So that way someone that may not be familiar with it can see how it operates in editing format. So yeah, take it away.
Right. So this is really not going to be super long, but to that question exactly, this is the new back end. So it looks a little different. Also, this is brand new. And since I'm in here, I'm just going to touch on it. This complete info, if you see that this isn't all the way completed, unless you're doing Google ads, they won't give you the full green completed profile, which is kind of a, Google trying to go ahead and convince you that you're missing a piece, but really it's just that you're not doing paid advertising. So,
okay.
Don't get concerned if you see this not completed or profile strength just about there. Anyways, back to the products question. It's really just right here. So you can add and edit products on the back end in this way. So right now this is what's in here for this particular attorney. Just add products, and you can make a name. Obviously there's not a price. So the big thing is product name. You select a photo, cut a photo out to the dimensions that Google recommends. Place that there, put the product name in. You can make different categories for, say you're in two different spaces as an attorney. If personal injury and criminal defense are two of your areas, you want to separate those out by category where those products sit, you can do that. product description. Obviously, it gives you 1,000 characters. You want to utilize that. That's going to help that show up in search as well. And then a landing page. So typically that's going to go to the actual practice area page of that product to give people more opportunities to click through from your Google business profile. So
Cool.
That is what that looks like. They look really cool. You can pull those out on mobile. These are going to take up, primary space on your phone as well, where people can slide through and realize if your firm is right for their needs, right? This has the product. They obviously cover this. I can click right to the landing page and convert from there.
Perfect. Let's scroll up and just kind of pause on that screen so folks can see all the different type of options and add-ons and features here. And I'm going to drill into a few of these if you guys are cool with that. So messages and calls. So obviously most, if not every business wants to use this as a lead generation source and as a way to have clients or potential clients be able to get in touch with them. How vital is turning that functionality on? What messages needs to be turned on, and how vital is setting it up so that way you're notified and you're actually engaging and responding to the interactions that are coming through this channel, which is different than the channels on your website.
Yeah, it's big. I think our philosophy is you try to meet people where they're at. So like on our website, we have obviously click to call. We have custom forms that can qualify clients. We have a chat tool. People are going to want to interact in different ways, and that's just the way it is. So not everyone is comfortable calling a law firm. Not everyone is comfortable filling out an online form because they may be have done that on a car dealership website or elsewhere where they're never going to stop getting calls, and they don't do that anymore. So a chat feature, whether you're using AI or live chat, is sometimes more comfortable for folks. Again, same with the Google business profile. They might just message you there. And that's how they found you. You're optimizing your listing. They're going to message you. Being able to respond right through there is going to be essential. Obviously, having your call set up to go to the right spot. A lot of calls you're going to get through the Google business listing. But messaging is a somewhat new feature that's, I wouldn't say a lot come through, but people are finding it and it will come through, and you're going to get business that way.
Definitely. And how about on the review side? Obviously reviews is right next to messages. It is an engagement point. It's with folks that have already done business with you rather than folks that want to do business with you. But super important to be engaging and responding to those reviews coming in from a psychological standpoint, a customer service standpoint, for folks that want to be able to see that you are on top of your customer service and actually engaging with your customers. And then Eric, you mentioned this actually being a factor in ranking. So why do a lot of business owners or small business operators, why do they fail to give the attention to reviews that we know is critically important?
I mean, I think it's just a time constraint thing. Like, we're all doing a lot of things. You can see photos, products, updates, secondary service areas, responding to reviews, soliciting reviews. These are all things that we know are important, but take, just a little bit of time every week to make sure you're staying on top of best practices. And especially if you're new to this is all first views. It's a little scary. You feel like you're moving the nuclear bomb a little bit. You don't want to screw something up and mess up your existing business profile and its established position. I mean, that's why agencies like ours exist, is we do this for you, for clients, to make sure you're putting out industry best practice tactics week in and week out to improve your conversion. But I think everybody knows reviews are important, and I don't know that everybody knows that A, you can respond to them. They haven't claimed their listing to do that, and B, the importance of responding to them and what that signals to Google.
What do you usually suggest if someone were to ask, how do I generate more reviews? And I know it's a bit of a loaded question. I'm asking it intentionally because it isn't an easy thing to do, but what do you recommend business owners and small businesses do to generate more reviews?
It's a great question. I'll show you an example of one of the tactics we use. Trying to pull it up so I can share screen. Here we go. So this is a tool that we offer to our clients that basically gives you a page for somebody to leave a review. Now, why not just send them directly to Google? Or what do I do with this? The first thing is we encourage people to put this like in the footer of their website and also in their email signature. Like, hey, help us out. Like just put it in your email signature. You're going to get a lot of exposure to it. And instead of sending them to Google, what this will do is help you filter out the bad ones. So if I put a 3-star review, it's going to ask me for feedback, and we're just going to email that to the customer, or to our client, the firm. If they say 5 stars, then we're going to send them to Google and say, why don't you tell us more about that 5-star experience that you had, right? And so now I'm here, I'm in my personal profile, I'm right there, and I can give that 5-star review. So two-parter. One, ask for reviews as often as possible. Make it part of your process. You probably have an admin or a follow-up process or a post-sales process, a nurturing process, like any email marketing. It should just be ever present. And, instead of trying to get all of them at once, just make it part of your follow-up, nurturing, and after-sales process. Email signatures, email marketing, text marketing, footer website, etc. And then the other part is, if you can, use a tool like that helps you ensure that you're getting the best reviews posted to your profile, and maybe any disgruntled customers might just give you feedback.
Filter them out. No, that's a really smart tool. And I like the ideas that you mentioned. And it goes back to being an ongoing activity again. And you need to make sure that you're giving it the attention that it deserves, and you're asking them in person, you're weaving it into your email automation, your confirmation emails. It's part of your social media request. It needs to be injected into a variety of ways that you're asking in a variety of channels, because it's very similar to backlink building. The quality over quantity, and it is a slow process in order to get those 4 and 5-star reviews. But when you do it, it makes a big difference. Even just having 15, 20, reviews that equal a 4.8-star rating is vastly different than just having 5 or 6. And that's what I think that a lot of people need to understand and commit to, is that even just a handful of these goes a long way, but you need to put in the effort in order to get that handful. And that's what I think is a little bit intimidating for a lot of people.
No doubt. Yeah. Like I said, if it was easy, everyone would do it, and businesses like ours wouldn't exist.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. A couple more questions here. Let's talk about reporting. How do you measure the impact of what you're doing from a local SEO standpoint and or a Google My Business profile standpoint?
Everybody does it differently. Google is going to give you, like in that same dashboard that Wes was showing, you can go and access a lot of your Google Business Profile performance and insights directly from that view. For our clients, we take that data and port it into something called Google Data Studio to build out a report like the one that you see, which also includes data from other data sources like Google Analytics. And call tracking sources. So that way we're able to expound upon what is available in the native solution and tie it in with other data that matters to you as a business executive. So you can see that for this client, we're rendering a handful of services, but you get this page of your report for Google Business Performance, profile performance. And you're going to see things like, how many website visits did you get from somebody like through the Google Business Profile, because there's that website link. So we track those links and those conversions into the website. So you can see 504 visits to the website just from looking at Google Business Profile links. Of those that came through Google Business Profile, how many of them converted? Did they place a phone call or fill out a form? We can tell you that. And of course, we're comparing it to previous periods, see how you're trending. But I mean, like, just for a second, just think about this. This is one client, 75 leads in a month from a Google business profile, phone calls and form fills. Like that's a lot of leads. I don't care what business you're in. If you're selling pizzas, somebody calling in to order a pizza, that's a lot, right? So to ignore the significance of what this, optimization can provide is not wise. But then we have conversion trends. How many did you get per month over time? And then we're looking at the number of reviews over a certain time, the average rating, how many you have in total, how much you're showing up in search across devices over time, how much you're showing up on maps when people are searching for a particular location, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of, that's what we're giving our clients.
Yeah, this is a fantastically looking report. I've seen a lot of data studio reports in my day, and this is super clean. Great job, guys. This is awesome. And these KPIs are really important for business owners and operators to be looking at. What's crazy is a lot of people that haven't seen behind the curtain, Search Console, Google Analytics. I don't think a lot of people, the day-to-day person on the street, knows the amount of search volume that exists out there, not just in general, but specifically for their local area and for the services that are in their industry and in their space. I was a Google guide for a while, and I was posting reviews everywhere I went. It didn't matter if I got my tires changed, if I bought a car battery, if I went out to eat, if I went to a park. I was posting photos and a review of everywhere I went. This went on for like 2-3 years. And there were some photos that got viewed by 300,000 times, 500,000 times, 750,000 times. And I'm thinking, how is there this many people in my town in upstate New York going to this park and seeing this picture, or going to this coffee shop and seeing this photo that I took? And it goes to show how much search volume there is in any given town for services that can potentially be in your space. And there's just so much opportunity out there if you do this right. And it's just something that you can't really sleep on as a business owner, because you can't afford to. There's too much business that you're losing out if you don't do this the right way.
Quick question for you, Tom.
Yeah, go ahead.
Google Guide. Did they give you anything for this, or you just do that out of the kindness of your soul to help people have a better experience in your community?
So a friend of mine just asked me this coincidentally a couple of weeks ago. There was a couple perks built in, but they weren't any good. They may have given me a Google Home, I think, maybe at one point, but it also might have come from because I was paying for their hard drive service, and they invited me to some sort of event that was in California that I still needed to pay for, airfare and hotel. So it really wasn't worth it. So yes, it was mostly from the kindness of my heart for a couple of years, and I spent a lot of time doing it, but it was kind of cool to look at the traction.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah. All right, last question, and then we'll turn it over to questions that may have come in the Q&A area. The little indicator there said it was 95% complete because you weren't running ads. How much value is there in running an advertising program layered on top of a local SEO Google My Business program? And if there is value, help us understand what type of ads someone should be running, and if they should be choosing to do local services ads and or traditional Google ads.
Good question. So if you're not familiar with local service ads, or LSAs, as we say in the biz, you've probably seen them, and they're these guys right here. So you got to have a headshot and you provide a service. So if I search for realtors or lawyers or plumbers, I can see these local service ads. So if you're in a service industry, these are pretty compelling, and we like them and render them on behalf of our clients for a couple reasons. The thing I like about them is that they're pay per conversion. So versus other forms of search engine marketing, you're paying for clicks, you're paying for impressions. These are pay per conversion. So you can really decide what you want to show up for and then only pay once somebody contacts you, and that conversion will come in the form of a lead form or a phone call. The other reason I like local service ads is because you can take the list of conversions that you received from the local service ads and can test ones that were bunk. So Google actually wants your feedback so that they can improve their LSA experience for both the customer and the business owner. And so for our clients that we render this service for, we're going to send you a list of the 38 leads you got in February from local service ads. And you're going to run that against your own customer database and say, hey, 4 of these, I don't even know what happened here. Like, this was spam or whatever. And we will, on your behalf, contest that for you. And you'll often get that credited back to you. So it just always feels like a good use of your funds. You know what you're going to get. You know, if you're setting a budget for $700 in a month, and once you establish that cost per conversion, you know approximately how many decent leads that you can expect in return for that budget. That's my pitch for LSAs. If that's if you're
that was a great rundown, and this screen is very good because I think that people who may not have have taken it for granted, they probably performed a search hundreds of thousands of times or whatever the stat might be. But let's look at this real estate here for a second. All right, so for a search, you're going to have your local service ads appear at the top. If there was traditional Google ads, you're going to appear after that. You're going to have the local pack, which is propelled and ranked mostly by your Google My Business presence associated with the maps. So where that person searched from is going to obviously have an indicating factor. And then you're going to have your kind of natural organic rankings beneath that with some rich snippets for FAQs, right? So the landscape has changed so much over even just the past few years, where we didn't even do this on purpose, but tying it back to the very first thing you said, Google trying to provide as much information directly in the search results page as possible to even prevent that click from happening, to where the consumer doesn't even need to have that click take place.
Exactly. Yeah.
So those ads can be very important, and obviously something that you're advocates of, or you wouldn't have your own clients showing up for this example search here. And they could definitely make a difference. And I do like the pay-per conversion model that you mentioned, where it's not as complex, very straightforward. If they call it or they direct message, they fill out that form, it's going to enter and be logged into the system. That's what you're going to pay against. And hopefully you're converting them into, paying clients, and however much you're paying for these conversions, $100, $200, or
it can be less than that. Yeah, I mean, and just a note, like that totally depends on your area. If you're in Chicago, if you're in New York City, you're going to pay a lot, right? Because there's a lot of people vying for that. It's just like any other kind of like bidding system. But if you're in like, a smaller town, I mean, we have clients that are paying $30 for a conversion, and they're converting, of those conversions, like 60% of those into customers. So I mean, like they can't. I mean, the ROI is like ridiculous. So it just
depends on the area and the industry, right? Because I was helping a buddy with a construction business, and yeah, it varied depending on what the competition was like and how many people were bidding into the local service ads block.
Exactly. So yeah, just a heads up there. Don't be scared off by the $100 per conversion. It just depends on your business and your target areas, but they can be very reasonably priced.
Okay, awesome. Really good stuff. Let's pause for a minute and let's open it up for any questions that may have come in. Wes, you were doing me a real solid by answering some of these questions as we were talking. So appreciate that. Let's see if there's any that we want to call out specifically, just so everyone who is listening and didn't have access to these questions that Wes may have responding to. Let's tackle it. So one was how you can get started. Like, what would be the best first step to kind of get going here? What do you usually recommend to clients, or if you're ever doing speeches or webinars like this, as to how a rookie could get started with all this?
Download the guide. I mean, if you don't remember everything that we said and you want to see more like, I can just have this PDF open on monitor one, and actually get like step by step, kind of like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. Yeah, I would download the guide. We've got a good one. Obviously it's geared towards legal firms, but really if you're in a different industry, it's worth a download to check out. And we're happy to help. A lot of the people that download that guide will set up calls and have more like tactical conversations about stuff they bumped up against when they were setting up their profile.
Okay. This one's a little deeper. If click-throughs are decreasing on search engine result pages, should businesses shift their focus away from the efforts that they're putting directly on their website and into other marketing areas and off-site activities?
Obviously there's a lot that goes into that. I don't know why they would be decreasing. I mean, I would say, well, we can get those to increase for you. But there's a lot of things that could go into that. And I'm marketing by trade, recommend integrated marketing communications. So I wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket ever. But if it's not working, I don't know that it means that it's, you've done everything you can. It's time to shift that budget elsewhere. Perhaps it's time to optimize the budget and try new tactics with your digital marketing strategies.
I think he was referencing the 50% mark that is not even clicking through a search engine results page and going to the website. So I think what you're saying is it probably should be split efforts, right? 50%.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. Yeah, I mean, that's why this service that we offer now exists. 10 years ago, we didn't have this as a service that we would offer. And all of our SEO efforts went to on-page optimization, new content marketing. But as behavior on the web has changed, yes, you should spend more time focusing on Google Business Profile, rich snippets, etc., to optimize your presence and get conversion without the customer or prospect ever needing to go to your website.
I come from the agency space as well. I spent a lot of years and had a lot of clients over a decade period, and it's probably the same for you guys, but there was a number of instances when we saw more traction, more impressions, more conversions from the Google My Business presence than we did from the website itself. And it really was a sign of the times in that stat that you mentioned, that people are looking to be fulfilled with the question that they're asking directly and more immediately. So they don't need to do as much research and they don't need to spend as much time. So it's really not that surprising to know that consumers are really trying to converge much more easily and much more quickly. So you definitely got to spend time on the inside of the channels or on the activities that are going to make the biggest difference for your customers and helping you as a business find those customers. All right, here's another good question. If you have multiple locations for one business, how do you go about setting up multiple Google My Business profiles?
Wes, to answer this, maybe you can speak to it.
Yeah, I mean, multiple locations, I would suggest multiple profiles for those locations if they're physical addresses that we can verify, right? Proximity is going to matter a little bit. If you're in Chicago and you have several offices that are very close to each other, I would just recommend having one listing, and then you can notate some of that within the actual profile. But if you're spread out throughout the state, it's obviously different client set, potentially drivable to the actual brick and mortar. Even if you're setting up virtual meetings and everything, obviously I would set up the other profiles. All the optimization that can be done, proximity is still going to matter a lot. So somebody close to that actual location looking for help, you're going to show up, if you're closer to one than the other. So there's no harm in having multiple listings and optimizing them depending on your spread and your business.
And I'll also mention, and you showed it, Eric, on your screen, or maybe it was you, Wes, when you shared your screen. But if you have multiple locations, you can more easily toggle between them and kind of manage it all from one parent profile. And we probably don't have listeners. I shouldn't make assumptions, but I'm just going to assume that we don't have a lot of listeners that have dozens or hundreds of chain-based locations where they're managing it from kind of a franchisee level. But there are tools in order to more easily create profiles at scale and manage that information at scale. And if you have questions on that, you can certainly reach out to Eric and Wes. I'm sure they have a resource that they use for that type of tactic. Another question came into the Q&A area, so other people probably can't see it, but it's about how much weight does posts, Google My Business posts, have on it being a factor in that rank order?
Yeah, I mean, they're never going to tell you. So Google's not going to say, oh, if you do posts, you're going to start showing up. It's really just a cumulative effect of all the work that you are doing on it. Number one, is it built out? Number two, are you going in there regularly, responding to reviews, creating new posts, adding new photos, doing all the things, building out that product section, adding new services that can show that little provides stand out, right? Different keyword buckets around those services. It's really just like I said, the cumulative of all the work that you're putting into it that's really going to help you rank. Posts alone, I couldn't quantify like what the percentage value is or chance of ranking if you just do that.
Yeah, right.
But it's one of those things of many. And like I said before, those actually hold great real estate on mobile. So it's something that you don't want to skip. It's great to have that large image that shows up on that mobile, on your phone when they are typing in your actual business name or your non-branded terms.
Another question just came in from Stuart. Does paid advertising, whether traditional pay-per-click ads from Google Ads or LSAs, do they impact your organic search rankings? Really good question, Stuart.
I mean, the official answer would be no. Those are going to be two separate things. Now, depending on how far into the conspiracy theory of Google you want to get with who spends money. But no, I don't buy into it, simply because we have worked for years with clients that do not do paid, and we do strictly organic. And the way that we do it, we get them results, and they rank first for a variety of terms. And obviously they aren't being hurt by the fact that they're not doing actual advertising with Google.
I've always been of the mindset that they are synergetic, though, right? Because if you're spending money on ads, even if it's display ads and YouTube ads, and it's generating more awareness and visibility for your brand, then that is hopefully going to directly lead to more branded or even potentially non-branded search terms, and help your business be found organically, which maybe they were first made aware of you through paid efforts. So that's just the
you're speaking like
that.
The human component, again, integrated marketing communications, but like, does Google reward
right
presence based on if you spend money with them? We believe no, and even if they do, there's like, you can still rank organically without doing paid.
Definitely, but consider if you're doing all of it, right? Let's say you're spending money on Google ads, local service ads. You have a robust, awesome Google My Business profile, and your website is very optimized for local search terms. You're going to be shown in the first section, the second section, the third section, and the fourth section, right?
Yeah, you're checking all the boxes. You're going to be hard to ignore for sure.
Definitely. Okay, let's wrap it up here, guys. Give yourselves a shout out. Where can people find Civille, and how can they get help with local SEO, Google My Business, or any other services that you guys offer?
Are you taking that opportunity, Eric, or no?
I was putting in all caps our website there.
Oh, gotcha. There it is.
So, how can you get Civille? You go to getciville.com. A lot of this may seem overwhelming or time consuming. Guess what? It is. And that's why you've got us to do it for you. We're experts. We've been doing it a long time. We didn't mention, we've been doing it 15 years. We've done it in a lot of different industries. Wes and I originally did this for car dealerships, automotive franchises, even for the manufacturers themselves. So we've got a lot of experience, been around as the industry evolved, help really trailblaze some of these practices and content marketing and other types of things, and we're happy to help. So if you want to offload this and know that you're doing it as good as you can possibly get it done, we can help you with that. And of course, we'd love to talk to you. But if you want to tackle it on your own, we've got resources that can help you do that as well. Download the white paper. You can go to getciville.com. There's a resources tab. We've got about 5 or 6 white papers that could be of interest to you, but you'll see the one that mentions Google Business Profile Optimization.
Wonderful. I certainly appreciate the time, Eric and Wes, and just a little shout out from our end, Smith.ai. We have a 24/7 virtual receptionist, live chat, and outreach campaigns, and we can help your business really handle all of your inbound and outbound calls and communication. And we do these webinars, this master series webinars quite often. We're going to be doing a couple a month. And the next one that we have is a really good one. I might be a little biased, but it's on social media lead gen ads, specifically Facebook and LinkedIn lead gen ads. And they're kind of similar to the local service ads that we talked about, where you're trying to capture that conversion point right on the channel, right on the platform that the user is, right directly on Facebook and LinkedIn. And we're going to go into automating that process, so that way when folks actually convert, fill out that form, it can dump right into your CRM, and Smith.ai can get involved and improve that process with responses to those calls and messages. So really appreciate the time and having you guys offer your expert advice, and hopefully we'll see some other folks that are listening here on future webinars. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks everybody for time and attention.